Okay, again, if you log into Canvas, you'll see again we have week 1. Again, this is your Photoshop assignment you should be doing. Try and do it by tomorrow. How about that? I need some kind of deadline. I need you to put something in there to give you a grade. How about that? And then you're supposed to do a discussion on templates. Hence, kind of a template is there. And if you looked at the template, you'll see there's a variety of different links in there. Article you can read. Airbnb is what I wanted you to comment about. Again, Airbnb is a language. Most likely it's either an app or an online, and so you can read about that. So you're supposed to comment on that. Then the second week of school, we talked more about design guidelines briefly. Remember I showed you the material design? We refer to that today as flat design because that's sort of the standard that Google has been pioneering. They weren't the founder of flat design, let's put it that way, Google, but they've really made their own version of flat design, and we're going to look at that in a minute. Again, Salesforce would be a good one for you to learn. Salesforce is hiring lots of people. Like a giant building in San Francisco. You should learn the web development because their whole basis of their interface is based upon HTML and CSS. So if you ever take a web development class, boom, learn how to do it. Apply for a job at Salesforce. And then, of course, Apple has their own interface design guidelines, and they have different guidelines according to phone, tablet, desktop. And the Xcode program that comes here on these computers, there's Xcode on these computers, which is the program we use to build apps. You can choose, am I building an app for the watch? Am I building an app for the TV? They have the Apple TV and so on. So you should read about that. And again, here's the guidelines again for Airbnb. So you should look at that. If worst things were that you don't use Photoshop over the weekend, at least read something. How about that? And then you should have practiced this Photoshop skills right there. The one we did last week. There's a video and a handout. Then this week, you're supposed to do a discussion on what it's like to work as a designer. So you should watch this video. Here's the company right here. It's called 3Spot. They're in Washington, D.C. It's somebody I went to school with. 2 people I went to school with. 2 friends. They started this business together. And they've been there for 20 years, 25 years in Washington, D.C. You learn some skills. Walk in the front door and say, Bill, I was one of Jeff's students. You hired me. Did I hire you on the spot? Because we want to live in Washington, D.C. You know? But he's got some nice clients. He's very social oriented. You know, he does a lot of government. Hey, it's there, but it's very social oriented, and so they do a lot of international. They do the Park Service, right? Hey, you want to work for the Park Service? In fact, we're going to have a whole lecture in this class about remember the design guidelines? Well, the Park Service has a design guideline. So a little bit later in class, we'll learn a little bit about the Park Service design guideline. And of course, a lot of foundation stuff and so on. Here, you want to join WordPress developer? There you go. That's basically learn some PHP, HTML, CSS. Boom, you'll be there. Digital producer. So there's 2 jobs right there. Okay, again, but what you're supposed to do is watch the video of him talking. He's the owner. So watch him talk about what it's like to be a designer. Again, he talks a little bit about his childhood and how the things that influenced him as a kid made him a designer today. Right? And so then I want you to comment about your experiences. I'm sure you have some kind of experiences that you can. Okay? That's what you're supposed to do this week there. Whoosh. Where was I at? Module. And then here's another video. I can't remember why I linked this video up. Oh, this is a really strange video. But he's really interesting about creativity. And he talks a lot about roadblocks that you have in life. It kind of goes along with the other one. It's interesting. If you have 20 minutes, it's better than watching Netflix. You can only watch so many Marvel comics or whatever. This is very interesting. I like that one. Watch that one if you can this week. And then this week again, we'll mostly be doing icons, interface design icons, just like we did last class. If you click on the link here, I do have the video that we made last class. Okay, so all the steps that we did last class on Thursday last week are here in this video. I'm thinking of food still. Still thinking of food. We'll get to this in a minute. Let's not go there right now. But we will be doing more food. What I really want to talk about, this is old videos. Again, more Photoshop skills. You don't have to watch these, but these are ones I did last year. It might be good. Very similar to what we're doing this week. If you want to watch them again, I don't know. They're from last year. I figured I'd just link them up. See 2008. And then here's the interface talk we're going to talk about right now. So again, mostly there's different types of interfaces. There's a mixture of interfaces. But mostly there's two types of interfaces, and one is the skew morph, which is basically the look of the icons or images in the interface represent what they do. A CD icon plays music, or you put a CD in. Here, in fact, in the early days, and I put this link in here, in the early days of the multimedia, what we used to call in the 90s multimedia, most of the interfaces were like this. In fact, I made a lot of interfaces like this. I'd love to show you some of my original interfaces. Maybe I'll find some of them and show you. The ones I used to do in the 90s were very similar to what you would see here, where I would do like a desk or outside, or we would do a room, or we'll have a car. I remember one time I was teaching students interface design, of course, and we had a car interface, and as the person was moving around, the car would point to where they were going. I still have that somewhere. But again, this way of thinking is that, the book is a book, you open it and read. The TV has knobs that you use, they do what they do. The volume control, changing the channel, cup of coffee. It represents something that we have an everyday experience. It's something that we do all the time. And this is just something you could make in Photoshop. These are very easy. Most of this is done in pixels, okay? This is more of something you would do in Photoshop as well. In fact, mostly pixels. In addition, the Apple interface has been a mixture of that. If you look at the standard Apple interface, the calendar still looks like somewhat of a calendar. The camera, the photography icon has the little flower in there, and so on. And the map has the map-looking icon. And this is not quite as much as this one, but it's still the Apple interface is like that, which is totally different than, of course, the Android interface. And if you look at the Android interface, is what we refer to as more of what we call flat design, or the material I/O, like you saw on the link. Okay, now they still represent that, but again, a lot of it's more flat design. And I don't know if I linked the video, but I will find the video if you want to watch it. I don't know if you want to watch it, of how they came up with the flat design. Basically, well, at least their version of flat, Android's version of flat design. Basically, what they did was they used paper, if I can find a piece of paper. There we go, paper. And so, and they talked about folding paper into the shape of the icon that they wanted to make. Maybe it's an airplane. I'm trying to make an airplane, not very good airplane here. Maybe it's an airplane. There we go. And then they would photograph it above a surface like this to get the shadow and how the shadow would interact with the shadow. And so there's a whole video of the Apple engineers or Apple designers, not Apple, I'm sorry, talking Android, coming up with the method that they used for the material design. And so again, these icons you can make in Photoshop in there, but a lot of them are very flat. Illustrator. Remember last class we were taking things and making them vectors, making them objects. And so a lot of the flat design is done in more of a vector application. Sketch has some vector tools, but nowhere near as nice as Illustrator. But you still make vector tools. In fact, when we make interfaces, there'll be a combination of vectors and bitmaps, just like we did last class. So today we'll do something very similar to what we did last class, where we have a combination of vectors and bitmaps and a combination. So again, flat design is kind of an Android look. What is better? Is there better? One is better than other. There's a whole bunch of reading. Which one is better than the other? So you can read a look at flat design, why it's significant. Okay, what's wrong with this skeuomorphism? Embracing the limitations of digital flat design has the potential to create great UX. So there's an article there, you know, why is one better than the other? Okay, and they talk a lot about flat design. Okay, and I guess they talk a little bit about what we just talked about. Again, most of the Apple kind of things. And what is the problem with skeuomorph is, of course, I think speed in some sense, in that a lot of these are done in more of a bitmap, where the other ones are vector. Vector is very fast. And the other downfall, I think, is people can recognize the flat design quicker, right? Your brain needs to calculate the complexity of something like this compared to something that's flat. I don't know, what do you guys think? Who likes flat design? Who has Android, right? You love your Android interface? I don't know. What's more faster? Using just icons like this, or should we have words as well? Or just words? What's the problem with just words in an interface? What's it? Difficult, especially if it's, you know, if you do it in English and English isn't their first language. You know, I go to South America a lot. You know, I'm down there trying to read the newspaper, and trying to read Spanish is hard for me. It is.
Someone like me who's using text, I think logo is better.
Logo is better, or icons.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's a balance. You know, do you use icons only, icons and words, or words only?
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with icons. If you just use icons too much, and no one knows what anything means, and so you have to use like tooltips that kind of bring up the word anyway, and
roll over
like
and the word pops up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other problem with icons is people have to understand what that symbol means, or like you're saying. So, I don't know. It's a fine balance, but people use all three, and that's what we're going to do when we get to the assignment today. We're going to use all three, and so if you read this, it's pretty good reading. Okay. There's something to be said of philosophy of skeuomorphism, but there's also a lot of issues that come using a digital design. For example, the analog clock features an Apple dashboard. It's hard to read than a digital alternative, right? You've all seen a clock with a face and so on. And of course, flat design is more of the embrace. Lots of color in flat design. As you can see, a lot of color. Color is very important in flat design, and so on. So today we'll start making squares. We're going to have a square with the corners. Remember we made icons last class? Today we'll put that icon in the square, like that, and so on. Oh, cut the rope. Who likes cut the rope? You guys don't like cut the rope? I like cut the rope. Again, the typography as well. Typography is very important in the skeuomorph, or in the flat design. Apple or Android has a whole way of doing the typography. Okay, it'd be great to learn the Google way, right? Then when Google finishes a giant complex in San Jose, hopefully you're all working there, right? Making $250,000 a year, and taking the speed train to work. I think speed train will be there by then. Maybe. We'll see. I'll be retired by then. Okay, you get the idea. Here's some more reading as well. If you, again, you can read the Wikipedia version and so on. Okay, let's get to doing our demonstration today. Okay, so again, we're going to kind of demonstrate. So make sure you complete the assignments. I just went through them with you. Again, the first week assignment, you need to complete that and turn it in. This one. The video's there and a handout. Do your discussion as well. Then make sure you do the, not that one. Where's week 2? This a little fast here. And then, again, do the second assignment if you haven't done that as well. And then this week, comment on working as a designer. And then today, we're going to talk about a food app. I was working on this over the weekend here. So again, I'm thinking of a food app that has some icons. I've had several students do food examples in this class, so I figured we'd go with that. Again, we're thinking of a navigational menu. Whenever anybody's interacting with a website or with an app, there's usually sections to it, right? You got your login, you got your main content, you have connect to Wi-Fi, right? What do these mean? What's that? Email.
Order online.
Screen sharing?
I don't know.
Test.
Maybe full screen? What is that?
I'm guessing it's screen sharing.
Screen sharing, maybe? This is from Xfinity.
Yeah, so probably like streaming to
I
different
don't know what
things.
it does. I just took a screenshot of it. I don't remember. This is definitely probably email, right? So this would be, I don't know. And this one? But it's in the interface. I don't know. I don't even know what it is. It's definitely, this is like an on-off switch, right? This is the common standard on-off. So in fact, I use it at Zircon. We have an on-off switch for turning the tool on and turning the tool off. We use the same thing. This Wi-Fi, I use this all the time because my product connects to Wi-Fi. There's a variety of different ones too. Some have square edges, some have round edges. This one I guess is telephone call. I don't know, it's kind of old now when people do that. And this is, I have no idea, either connect to my Wi-Fi or connect to my cell phone. I don't know. But again, it's a little confusing because we might not know exactly what they are. And the other problem with these ones, of course, is they're white and they're small and they're on a black background. There's not a lot of contrast there. Think of somebody who is, I think of my father, who doesn't see very well. He's like 70-some years old. He has, pretty thick glasses. He would have problems understanding, not even understanding these, but seeing them, right? So Comcast has this really black, it's a black interface. If you've ever seen Xfinity online, it's a black interface with these little white line icons, that. And then here's mine from my Zircon website. Again, we hired an agency in LA to make these. I didn't hire them, but somebody hired them. The owner did. These icons are a little confusing, especially with the tool. My tools are not the most self-explanatory tools. I get people online going, this tool sucks, I can't use it, blah, 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 whatever. But beside the point, they decided to have an icon and words that tell you what it does. This is called Drill Guide. It's supposed to be, I guess, a drill bit going through a wall. I don't know. This is water detection. I guess this is like a sight from a gun sight or whatever with the water in the middle. Water leveling, I guess this line means I'm making something level with water. And then this is supposed to be stud edge. I don't know. They spent a lot of time and effort in building these icons and making this interface, and it's not used very often at all. And I go into Google Analytics and I tell them that. But no, they tell me from LA, oh, it's used, it's the #1 used thing on the website. Really? Google Analytics tells you everything, where people are going, what they're clicking on. In the old version of Google Analytics, you used to be able to bring up your website and you could see how many people are clicking on which part of the website. 5 times here on this icon, 4 times here on this icon, 10 times on this one. The new version of Analytics, I can't find that. I don't think they offer that anymore. But that was very useful. I used to be able to bring up the web page, and in Google Analytics, you could see, it would tell you what part of the page they clicked on. I'd have to find that again if I can. Then, of course, here's from the West Valley website. All words, no icons. Admissions, academics, student services, campus life, about us, athletics. Do you think they should have icons and words or words only? We have a lot of international students. Guess it doesn't matter. You got counselors that'll help you, right? So again, we're going to make an interface this week, just like we did last class with a menu. But we're going to make 3 of them we can steal. So 3 you can steal from, and we'll steal again today. But next class, we're going to draw some icons. And we're going to learn how to take them from our drawing into the computer. So I haven't figured out which ones we're going to draw yet, though. That's my problem. Again, we're doing food. Where would we draw them? We can draw them on the board. How about that? I'll bring markers. We'll draw them in class. We'll take a picture, and we'll put them into the computer, just like we did last class. Because remember, we took a picture, right? That screen grabs a picture. Okay, we're going to do kind of similar to that, but again, we're going to add to our icon today. So instead of just being an icon, we're going to add edges to it. We're going to add color to it. We might add a shadow. Think of in the flat design. There's a lot of shadow to that. Right? If you haven't looked at the flat design, there's a lot of shadow to that. So again, think of you're going to draw 2 icons about food next class. The icons I was thinking that we would have would be food type. So what kind of food? I'm thinking this would be a food app that we delivery service, right? Grubhub. Or what's another one? Grubhub and which one? Grubhub I know is one. What's another one? Who? DoorDash. What's the other one? Uber Eats. Yes, Uber Eats is very popular in South America. I couldn't believe it. I'm in Bogota, Colombia, and Uber Eats was everywhere. Because in Colombia, you don't need to do anything. You can get anything delivered to your house, probably anything. Beer, cigarettes, whatever, delivered to your door. And Uber Eats was the number one. They didn't have DoorDash there. It was all Uber Eats. And they do have a delivery service if you haven't heard about that one. It's a Venezuelan company. Imagine that. Venezuelans, well, actually, it's not it's a Colombian company that Venezuelans are all working at because they're coming across the border because they need a job, and so they're all doing delivery. What is that called? I don't remember what it's called. So a login. Check delivery. I don't know what that would be, but I was thinking that, where's my delivery at, right? Maybe a map or a form to share with a friend. I was thinking if you were a food app and you just bought the best chicken cashew from the local restaurant down the street, wouldn't it be great if you could just send it to your friends and say, you got to try this chicken cashew? I was thinking of an app, something like that. Or a place where you can post, hey, I love that chicken cashew chicken. Those are the kind of icons I was thinking. I don't know. Let's just practice today, and next class we'll talk a little bit more. But you need to think about that over the next 2 days and come in and we'll draw them on the board. Okay. So let's get to our demo. I'm going to pause this video. Here we go. Okay, we're going to kind of start like we did last class. We're going to steal from the internet for now. So let's steal again. Another great place to find info before we start. Hold on. Before we even start. So let's say we're doing an app. Another great place to actually look is to go and look at apps. Now, I'm not talking downloading apps and testing the apps. I'm talking just looking at the interface. If you go to the Apple website, they'll actually, when you look at an app, it'll actually have screen captures of the app, so you can actually see the screens of the app without even using the app, right? So I did link up a link to that. Where was it? It was in the PD. It was in the Word document we were just looking at. So let me open that up. I think it's in that Word document. This one. So again, I went to the food and drink section of the Apple store. So if you just go to the Apple store, there's a website, apps.apple.com. Do you see that? Apps.apple.com. At the top, apps, apps.apple.com. Do you see that? If you go there, they'll have categories for all the apps. So then you can go over here and say, oh, I want to see what the Chick-fil-A app is. Hey, everybody loves their chicken sandwich, don't they? Or is it the Louisiana chicken, I think is the one. You can click on that, and it'll actually show you screenshots of their app. Their load screen, their menu screen, their screen. So again, you get to see what the, look at these icons here. What do we got here? We got this one, an account, right? What do you think this one is? It's kind of hard to see. These are hard to see. So again, what else? Drizzly alcohol delivery. There you go. Somebody's gonna bring my beer to my house. Drizzly. There we go. Look at that. What else? There's a lot of them. Oh, here's the Popeyes. We want the chicken sandwich, right? Again, here's a map one. Here's a little card for delivery. Look at that one. There's an icon there and the word. All capital letters. All caps here. So we'll do some text today. There's your delivery. Look at this, a big kind of ticket. Does it look like a ticket? Like a movie ticket, right? With the little divots on the end, right? Or is it a coupon maybe? Coupon maybe? They have icons down here. This one, I don't know, it looks like a refresh. There's a tag. Okay, this is the tag one. That's what this is. And so a great place to do research. Again, to look at what apps are and maybe some icons and things like that is to go and do some research on the, at least because I have an Apple, that's why. I'm sure there's Android, Google Play, right? Google Play has something similar. Is that where you download your apps? Okay, let's start. Again, today we'll steal like we did last class. The place where we steal our icons is called the Noun Project. The Noun Project. And that's not the only place to find icons, but it's a quick place. The Noun Project. And so we were thinking of things like delivery for our icon, right? Maybe we'll do a delivery one. You want to do a delivery icon first? How about we do a delivery icon first? D-E-L-L-I-V-E-R-Y. Delivery, is that delivery? There we go. So we have some delivery icons that come up. Some are more complex than others. This again kind of might fall into the same problem that you would have with the Comcast one or the Xfinity, right? Because it's very complex. And then to put it into a very small space, all the little lines will probably get lost. It works kind of big like this, but think about it. What is this? What is the standard pixel size of your mouse? Anybody know what size the mouse is? That mouse right here, the standard icon on a computer. How many pixels is that? It's only 16 by 16 pixels. Very kind of small. And that's it. That's the same as the icon up here, right? Look at this. Remember this is called a favcon. Did we talk about favcons? These right here. That's a favcon. Oh, that was in my HTML class, right? In the HTML class, we were talking about the favcon. I know. Oh, we didn't really talk about it. How about remind me tomorrow to teach you how to make the favcon? Okay, so those things they're 16 by 16 pixels too. Awful small. See those little things way up there? So they're little icons. And where's favcon come from? were the only one there, I think. So Microsoft thought they were cool, and they made Internet Explorer, right? So, and they wanted to make Internet Explorer better than any other browser. So they added the ability to add an icon to the favorites, right? Like in Firefox or in Chrome, you save a bookmark, right? Well, in Internet Explorer, you saved a favorite, and they wanted to have an icon in that favorite menu, and so they built the ability to put an icon in that favorite list for your saved web pages, and it became called a favcon, and it was adopted. Something from Microsoft was adopted around. Again, now this is only 16 by 16 pixels. So let's think, what would be a good delivery one? Truck. This is pretty ugly, big black. It's just plain. It's not very fun. And it doesn't necessarily say delivery, right? This could be a truck. It could be what? Buying tires. I don't know. It just has tires on it. I don't know. I mean, it's a delivery truck, but does this say delivery with the hand and thing like that? I don't know. Is it truck? Which one's better, truck or the hand? Truck is better. The hand could be a lot. This is again would have the same problem in that if you make this really small, it would probably get lost because you might not see that there's this little part there, right? Of somebody kind of handing somebody something. And then the stick people, whoosh, again, this would get lost very quickly. This is like, I don't know. Okay, which one is best?
I think the first one.
This one right here? Yeah, I kind of like the truck. I'm thinking, no, it needs to be a little bit more. I kind of like this one over here. I like the speed of the thing going. This one's a little thicker lines. What is this one? This is like a happy square guy flying through space there. Is that like my Amazon box is flying to my house with the helicopter there. I don't know. Okay, let's go with the first one. So if you click on it, you get the big version. Now, of course, we did not pay for this, even though it is a Creative Commons. You see that right there. When using it for any project, you are required to give credit to the icon's creator and purchase a royalty-free license. If you don't know what Creative Commons is, you really need to learn what Creative Commons is. So, back when the web was just getting started out, people like artists and designers want to be able to share their information and let people use their stuff. I'm a musician. I don't care if somebody uses my song in their movie, as long as it's not a Hollywood movie and you get billions of dollars for that movie. You're an independent filmmaker and you want to just use it, you can use it. So there's a thing called Creative Commons. Okay, most of the icons you find on here are Creative Commons. And so, but I don't even have an account with these. If you sign up with an account, you can download that with different colors and stuff. We can just steal. So the easiest way to steal, again, is to take a screen capture of this. I'm going to take a screen capture of this and I'm going to put it into Illustrator, and then we're going to make the icon in Illustrator, change it. So to steal it, again, I'm going to use the command keys, Command-Shift-4. Draw a box around it with the upper left corner to the lower right corner, like that. Release the mouse. Makes that beautiful sound that we all love. And Apple's been doing that for years. I've been taking screen captures for 25, 30 years now. And then I'm going to go into Illustrator. If you don't see Illustrator in your doc, it should be down here. We're using Illustrator 2018. If it's not in your doc, just let me know. I'll come and put it in your doc. So start Illustrator. In fact, we're going to have the new version hopefully soon. The other teacher that's coming in on Monday, Wednesday, she's really pushing to get the newest version of Adobe on here because she likes the features of the 2019 version. I still use 2018 in my at my company, and I still use 2018 here. My laptop, I believe I have 2019, so there's a little bit of difference. Oh, there's one we made last time. Okay, to start with a new file, I'm going to go underneath File, New, inside of Illustrator. And inside there, You can choose different options in here. Again, you have in the file new window in Illustrator, you have mobile. It has all kinds of mobile web page, screens. We got web, we got print, we got film and video, we have art and illustrations. So a variety of different ways of doing things. I'm just going to choose a web for now, just because I want it to be RGB. If you leave the default, which is the print one, it's going to be in CMYK color space, and we want RGB. It doesn't really matter at this point because I'll show you where to change that, but I'm just going to use this. Don't worry about size right now. We'll be able to adjust. Remember, it's vector. We make it any size we want. So I'm going to hit create, and I'm going to zoom this again. To zoom out and zoom in is command minus, command plus, command minus, command plus, command minus, command plus, command minus, command plus, command minus. Okay, the command key and the minus key. Remember, holding the space bar down gives you a hand. Do you see this? Hand. And if I want to move I use the mouse and I move it around. I move it around. Same in Photoshop, same in Sketch, same inside of Illustrator. They're all the same. So I want you to open a new window and then place the icon. Do not open the icon. Because if you open that screen capture, it thinks it wants to be black and white. But if you place it here, I think it'll default to color. Here we go, new window. Okay. So here we go. We're going to place our icon in here. How do we place our icon? We go underneath File, Place. Where's Place? Oh, sorry. It's just my eyes are Place. And then we're going to go to Desktop right here. And then your screen capture should be the screen capture. Now, I have several from the other day, last week when we were doing them. But, of course, here's my latest one because it says what? Today, right there. So I'm going to place. And I'm going to draw a box. So again, I usually start in the upper left corner and drag like this. Boom, and put it on the screen. Okay, so drag a box. Now, of course, this is still bitmap. When you take a screen grab, it makes it into pixels. We don't want pixels. We want vector. So again, to make this into a vector icon, we're going to do image trace. If you remember from last class, it's a pop-up window. So if you don't see any pop-up window, and I'm going to close mine for now. I'm going to close all these, close all these, close all these. To open up the image trace window, I go under Window, Image Trace. Window, Image Trace. Then in this image trace window, it should pop up. It might be jammed over here somewhere. You might have to find it. It's probably jammed over here somewhere, linked to another window. To grab it, all you need to do to move windows around is to grab the word, like image trace. You can see it right here. Hold the left mouse down and drag out. It'll drag it out. Now, in this case, for the image trace, I'm going to keep it black and white, like it says right here. But I'm going to go down to where it says advanced right here, where it says advanced, and twirl that down. There's a triangle for advanced. And inside there, I'm going to say ignore white. What that does is all the white space that's outside or inside the bitmap here is going to be gone, and it's only going to keep the black part. So ignore white and then say preview or trace, and it'll be done. Now it's not quite done yet because it still has some information grouped together. So how Illustrator works is it works by making objects, and those objects are grouped together. So again, there's objects here and they're kind of grouped together, and we want to split them apart so that we can work with them individually. To split the objects apart inside of Illustrator, we use the object expand, E-X-P-A-N-D, expand. When we say object expand, it'll ask you, hey, you want to split this up? You don't have to change anything. Just say, yeah, I want to split it up. Just hit OK. Boom. And you'll notice it gets rid of kind of that bigger box and just gives you the box of the objects that are there. So see if you can get to that point, and then we'll start making, and we're going to make this into a different icon. I'm going to pause. So if you want to see the mathematical equation, if I convert this into an SVG, so you don't have to do this, don't do this, just watch. If I go under Save As and I change it to SVG right here, which is a format, see SVG, Scalable Vector Graphics. It's been around since the late 90s, and it's a way of putting a vector onto a website. In fact, they even have animation in SVG. And then I go and hit the, now this is my truck. And I go code. You can see it right here. This is what the computer sees of that truck. Basically, here's the code. It's in an XML format. And you'll see it has some tags, and then it has a path. And what is this path? It's basically a line drawing. It's drawing the line. So that is basically a mathematical equation, as you can see here. Okay, that is drawing that line, that truck line, is what it is. This is that truck line in code. Okay, so it doesn't see it as tiny dots. It sees it as basically a map, right? You've all taken geometry. It's basically geometry. A little bit more complex. And a little bit of calculus, too. I don't know, my son was learning calculus, and, you know, he had to figure out the vector positions of lots of things. His calculus was vectors. So again, this is a mathematical. So that's what that, and I'm going to cancel this. But that's what this looks like to the computer. Okay? It's basically a mathematical. Okay, let's change the color. So let's change the color. Again, if you have your object selected still, if you clicked off, this is the selection tool. This one's the most important one right here. Selection tool. You click on, click off, click on, off, on, off, on, off, on. So it sees this as a fill. This is called fill. Every object in Illustrator has two characteristics. It has the color inside and the color around the outside of the object, which would be called a stroke of a line outside. So we're going to change the color. If I double click here, right here on this big black thing right here, or up here, there is another color option here. They're both the same right here. If I double click on that, it'll ask me what kind of color. You get your standard color picker. And how many colors is in the color picker? 16 million. Okay, this is called 24-bit. When you roll your mouse around, you'll see that it changes the number here. What is this number called again? Hexadecimal. I'm going to keep saying these things to you remember them forever. Yeah, this is the standard web one. So if I was going to put this on a website and I'm designing with my standard, remember we talked about a template? Remember the template for Salesforce, right? Salesforce uses hexadecimal values in their template, so you should know what that is. So what's my favorite color? I think we did that in web design class. 1995, I started using hexadecimal values. My favorite color was light sky blue, 33CCFF. So if I type in 33CCFF and hit tab or whatever, that's my light sky blue. And if I hit OK, boom, it doesn't turn blue. You're like, why? Why? No. The reason why is Illustrator still sees this as black and white. So it sees it as, it makes it gray. It's just an Illustrator problem. It's not your fault. It's Illustrator's fault. I don't know how to change that before. So to convert this into RGB, you actually have to go to the color pop-up window. So if you go under Window, Color, under Window, Color, and you'll see it's only black and white in this color window. So to change that to RGB, if you click over here, there's like these little lines in the upper right corner of any pop-up window. Here again, color might be jammed over here. You might have to come over here and grab it and drag it out. But you'll see the little lines in the upper right corner right here. You might have to change it from grayscale to RGB. There it is. Okay, so now it's light sky blue. There it is. So again, in the color window, in the pop-up window there. How many colors is grayscale? No, more than that. It's 8-bit. So how many colors is 8-bit? 256. 16-bit is 65,000 colors. 24-bit is, we already know that, 16 million colors. Okay, so today we don't really need to know that as much as in the old days. In the old days, we used to have to try and get things to match different colored monitors. VGA monitors, which was only 256 colors, and we had super VGA monitors, which was thousands of colors. Now we have these wonderful 4K monitors that display millions of colors. So let me see your color. Did you get a color? There you go. You get a color? Yes. Get a color, color. Color, color. Okay, let's wrap our icon in a round square. You guys okay up back here? Okay, here we go. So we're going to go and make a round. So a lot of icons like you saw on the website. Okay, let me see. Or even in Apple, right? If you look at the icons on your phone or on there, you'll notice it has a round kind of edge to the corners, right? The round corner. Now, when you submit things to Apple, you submit them as square. It's the actual operating system that puts the round edge on it. But let's say we're making an interface to show our client. That's the whole purpose of this class is we simulating what an interface would look like so we can get somebody to pay us big money to program it and make it. So usually if you're going to submit it to Apple, you submit it as square. I'm just pointing that out now. If I put it on a web page though, I'll tend to program it with the round edges. You can actually do the round edge programming in CSS. So here we go. We're going to put a round box around our thing. Now remember, this is objects. So one thing about objects inside of Illustrator is you can bring them forward or backward. So when I draw a box, it's actually going to be over top of my object. Okay. And then we're going to move it behind it. So here we go. First thing I'm going to do is deselect this car, or whatever this is, truck. I'm going to click off it. Click on, click off. Click on, click off. I'm going to click off by just clicking outside, anywhere in the white area. Next, I'm going to change the color to something that is contrasting with the truck. So what would be a nice contrast? Maybe a nice kind of, something that's not going to work, right? How about a dark purple? There we go. I'm going to do mine dark purple. The reason why I deselected the truck before I changed the color is because if you had it selected, it would change the color as you're trying to change the color. Again, if you don't have a color picker, you can double click here and get a color picker and choose that. You should get used to using the color picker. It's been around ever since the graphical user interface. Back in the old days, though, we used to use a palettes, and you would only have 256 colors to choose from. Now we have 16 million. Whoosh. Okay, to make a box with round edges, if you count down the left side, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll notice there's one that says rectangle tool. You see that one that says rectangle tool? I'm going to hold my left mouse down over there, and you see the one that says round rectangle tool. Do you see that one? Round rectangle tool. So again, I'm holding the left mouse down under here. Count down again if you can't find it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Hold the left mouse down. Round rectangle tool. Okay, everybody got the round rectangle tool? Don't worry, you can change the round rectangles. You can change the edges later. You don't have to change them right now. Next, I'm going to go in. Here's the secret. You got to use 2 hands for this. Get your 2 hands out. 2 hands. I'm going to put my cursor kind of in the middle. Let's see if I can find the middle. There's a middle. Usually sometimes it says center when you're moving things around. Try and guess of where the middle is. Guess where the middle is. I'm going to guess it's somewhere right around here. That's somewhere. It tries to tell you and give you some information, but it usually isn't right. So put your cursor in the middle. Now you're going to use your left finger and hold down the Option key. Option key. And you're going to use the left mouse and you're going to start dragging with the left mouse to the lower corner. As I drag, you'll notice it starts making a box. Do you see that box? Do you see the box? I'm like, don't worry if it goes outside the edge. Don't worry if it goes outside the edge, the white area. Let's make a box. Make a box. It doesn't have to be perfectly square. It can be a little box. Just try and make it even or kind of around there. See how I made it kind of even? And I'm going to let my finger off the mouse and then let my finger off the Option key. Now remember, this box is over top of it. Remember, it's over top. To move it behind my my shape or my truck, I go underneath Object, Arrange, Send to Back. Object, Arrange, Send to Back. And if I click on that, Object, Arrange, Send to Back, it'll actually put it behind there. There we go. We got a purple box with a blue truck in it. So let me pause this and I'll come in. Don't worry about the edges yet. I will show you how to add. Here we go. To make the edges rounder, I'm going to go underneath the properties. And if you don't see properties, it's under window properties. And if you, again, it's going to pop up over here probably. And so if you drag properties out, you might have to drag it over here. You're just going to have to get used to dragging things around. So in this case, it should have the ability in here to change the edges. I don't see it there. Where is it? Where? How do you change the edges, those of you who are in this Illustrator class? Maybe it's under Info? Or no? Is it under Properties? There is a way to change the edges. Transform? No. Which one? This one right here? More options? Oh, there we go. Yes. 3 little dots under properties. Thank you. Do you have properties on yours? Okay, good. So 3 little dots right there. You see that? And then here's the edges right here. So if you increase the pixels for the edges, it will make the edges rounder. So again, you could just put your cursor with the arrow that goes up and just click, and it should change it. And as you click up, you'll see it change it. In addition, you can grab this little dot too, I believe, here and drag that in. I don't know if that works, but yeah, that does work. See a little dot right here? There's a little dot right here. That'll work as well. So now we have a nice round edge. So see if you can do that. Again, these little dots here might bring you up so you can do it number-wise, or you can drag, I think, visually right here with this. They added that probably about 5 years ago, and I don't really use it very often. Okay, last thing I'm going to do is add a little shadow. Wouldn't it be nice to have like a little shadow behind our truck to give it a 3D kind of look? Now, this is not the standard skewy morph, or the standard, I meant flat design shadow. The standard flat design shadow usually has it going across the whole icon. I'm just going to do a really kind of a cheating shadow, we'll say. So right now we have 2 trucks, right? You guys all got 2 trucks. I'm going to click off. I'm going to click off. I'm going to click outside here. Oosh, I didn't want that. Whatever that was. I want to have, go to the arrow. Make sure you're on the selection tool right here. Selection tool. And click outside. Click on, click off. Click on, click off. Use the selection tool right here. And I'm going to duplicate this truck and change the background to like a black truck behind it. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Here we go. I'm going to hold down the option. I'm going to use, again, I'm using the black selection tool, the normal selection tool. I'm going to hold down the option key. Notice how when I hold down the option key, again, the black selection tool, the cursor changes to 2 arrows. Do you see that? 2 arrows like that? See 2 arrows? I'm going to click with the left mouse and I'm going to drag just a little bit, and I'm going to kind of duplicate this truck a little bit up to the upper, right side a little bit. And I'm going to release the mouse. Now I have 2 trucks that are kind of on top of each other. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the one that's underneath it. How do I grab it? I might zoom in. Remember, the Command plus is zoom in. And remember, the space bar is a hand. So what I want to do is I want to select the truck that's underneath it. So you might need to kind of zoom in so you can select the one that's underneath it. And let's make that one black. Remember to change the color is this big color thing right there. So if I double click on there, I'm going to make it black. And now I have kind of a 3D looking truck. And remember the space bar there. Click off. So that gives me kind of a 3D look. I'll do that again. Let me do that again. I'll do the same steps. Hold on. Okay, so I have my truck here. Let me zoom in. Command plus on the keyboard zooms in. Command minus zooms out. The spacebar hold makes a hand. Okay, so again, I'm going to have my one truck. I'm going to duplicate it by holding the option key down on the keyboard. And I'm going to click and drag just a little bit to the upper right. Not too far. I want it to kind of overlap, but not too much overlap. And I'm going to release the left mouse and then release the option key. Then I'm going to click on the one that's underneath it. You have to kind of click like down here where the tire is, because if you click here, it thinks you want it the one on top. So you want to kind of, wherever you can click where you can almost grab the one underneath it. Then you can change the color of it by double clicking here, and that'll change it to a dark color. And if you click off, you can see it kind of gives you a quick 3D look to it. So see if you can do that. Command A on the keyboard. Command A. Selects all the objects in Illustrator, all the objects. Okay, then we're going to shrink this down by going underneath Object, all the very second to the last one. It says Artboards under Object. Second to the very last one, you'll notice there's ones that say Fit to Artwork Bounds, or it says Fit to Selected Art. Do you see those ones? One of those? Either one of those would work, and it'll shrink the white box down. Now, I'm going to save this as Illustrator. To save it as Illustrator is a great way, because then I can bring the Illustrator file right into Photoshop, and it'll stay vector in Photoshop. So if you save this as Illustrator, I'm going to go under File, Save As, and I'm going to change it. See how it has an AI extension, and then this one's going to be called, what is this, Truck? It's Delivery, whatever. You can put Delivery in there, D-E-L-I-E-V, or, oh, no, Delivery, L-I-V-E-R-Y. How about that? So that's our first icon. Woo! Save that. Okay, save that. The problem with that, though, is I can't really put this on a website in Illustrator format. So if I was going to put this on my website, what format do you think you would make it into? JPEG, no. What's the problem with the JPEG? Not transparent, exactly. Do you see the white around the edges of my round thing? I want that to be transparent on my website. So we're going to save it as a PNG. To save it as a PNG, if it was going to put this on, or an app. If I was going to put this in Xcode and build an app in Xcode, I want a PNG. I'm like, well, actually, you can keep it vector. In fact, if we're going to put this into Xcode, I'm lying to you right now. If we're going to put this in an app on my phone, we would save it as PDF. Because the PDF can go onto an app. But right now, to put it on a website, I would probably put it as a PNG. To make it a PNG, you go under File, Export. Now, you guys have a different version, but you could say Export Screens, Export As, Export Screens. I don't know what yours says. And it should say PNG there, and you can say Export there. And it'll save it as a PNG. You might have to tell it where to go. Where is that again? File, Export, Export As. I'm going to do Export As. And then it allows me to save it where I want to save it. And then save it as a PNG down here as a format. There's a whole bunch of bitmap formats. PNG would be the best. Okay, now I can put that on my website. Whoosh. Okay, so hopefully that helped you out a little bit.